All right, guys, we are back. You can go ahead and unpause, and I'll give you the time code: 1 hour, 16 minutes, and 18 seconds. 1:16:18 in 3, 2, 1, play. So generally speaking, did you enjoy seeing that match with you and Arn?
Yeah, it was good to see just two pros doing the thing, and if I look at it, could I have done things better? Yes. But as far as not setting anything up and going out there and being pros and just doing our jobs, it accomplished it. We looked like two pro wrestlers having a contest. Nothing, there was no see-through anything. And then we got the job done and we got the crowd where we wanted them in the end. And that's your whole job. So
Ricky the Dragon Steamboat coming out for your main event with his presentation that he developed in the WWE with the fire, the dragon wings, the lights go out so you can see the fire a little bit better. And he is still Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Even at this point of his career, he's still great.
Brilliant. Just absolutely brilliant.
Look at this guy. It's time.
And just, when you see somebody like him come through, I mean, just perfect. It's funny with it being Ricky, but you've got the perfect dragon and the perfect dragon slayer, right? It's a story across time. And it's just.
It cuts away to a commercial break, and it comes back in, and they're in the middle of wrestling, and we see Vader hit a big splash on Steamboat and races inside the ring. Seems like maybe the beginning of the match. What was it like? How many times were you in the ring often with Vader?
I've never wrestled him, but I've tagged with him, only a couple of times.
And as a character, Vader was a unique individual. I've heard many stories.
We didn't have a lot to do with each other at this time. I got to know him for a short, after when I went to WWE in '98, he was there, and he was a different fella then. At this time, I wasn't, and I'm just being honest, I wasn't the biggest fan. I thought it was a bit of a liberty taker. And so I just kept away. It wasn't somebody, and there's a few things that happened between me and him. I can't really, but I did help him once when I didn't want to, because Harley Race asked me to teach him some stuff for a match he had with Takada in Japan, and I just I wasn't too happy about doing it because I thought he was a liberty taker and would take liberties with people with it. But Harley asked me, and because I thought so much of Harley, I did it. But that was about the only interaction we really had. He wasn't somebody I hung out with or anything, and that's a true story. I took him to a ring in Munich in Germany, and on the mats in the afternoon of the show, I showed him some things to protect himself in case Takada went off on him, and he did that. And then not long after, I don't know what the time frame was. It's gone so quick now, but it's when he had his thing with Paul Orndorff, so he was gone much after. I do know that I did it and it was, again, it was only because of Harley Race, but I spent a few hours showing him some things just to make sure he didn't get proper creamed. And unfortunately, there's nobody there to prove it, but I'm telling you, that's a fact. Because I'd trained, obviously, with a lot of people, good kickers, and I was always training with different people, Japanese people, and different for years, and different styles of stuff. And I knew enough to block things and to to make sure he didn't get completely annihilated if Takada wanted to, or at least how to get through that. And that's the truth. But it was only because Ali asked me. I said no at first because I didn't want to, because I thought if I show him anything, he's going to just not, because he already like clobbers people. He's obviously big. I don't want him to start taking liberties. The same thing that I said basically to Sid. We talked about that in another episode. I wouldn't do it. We had very little contact, and then he disappeared. But whenever I've seen him after that, whatever happened in the WWF, he was a different person. Then he was always nice, polite, and whatever else. And anytime I met him, we always got on very well and sat and talked about, because he'd been to Germany. So it was just at this particular time, me and him, I just kept out of it. I wasn't somebody I cared about, and I kept out of his way. And I'm certainly not out of his way for anything about worrying about him. He wasn't somebody I didn't like the way he knocked extras about and stuff.
Well, he's certainly putting a beating on Ricky Steamboat right now.
Yeah. But one thing I will say, he was incredible. I mean, I thought he was absolutely at this point he was incredible.
And I've got nothing character and presence too.
And I might have got on really well with him if I'd have actually on ground with him. And because I've been around people who have I've knocked people about. It was just we never did. We never socialized in any way, and I never talked to him much in the dress. I might have said hello now and then, and he might have said hello, but that was it. We had nothing. And then I did this thing in I think it was 94, or it might have been 93, whenever he had the match with Takada. We'd been on a European tour, and Ali had asked me he said he was a bit worried about him getting straightened out by Takada, and so I took him in the afternoon in Munich. We went to the ring, and it was just the mats actually. They hadn't finished building the ring, and I just showed him a few things to try and protect himself, or how to catch a kick and turn somebody, how to block a kick and turn them,
just
put
in
them
case
in
things got
just
ugly.
A few things, just in case. And I spent a few hours, but I do know that he didn't. That was it, and he said thanks, and that was it. I still never had any more to do with him, really.
And Ricky Steamboat showing us why he can always get the crowd going and is always so exciting. He's getting beat up the whole time, and now this flurry of exciting offense, and just the way his body language and everything, everything just hits really hard.
Oh,
it's really great.
They're great. It's just the most fantastic fire, and just brilliant fire.
And he's always been like that. I remember the first time I saw him, he's always been that guy that once he gets on fire, it's oh wow, big suplex to Vader from Steamboat.
Ricky was just, again, when I'm watching this, what I'm thinking more of is how fortunate I was to wrestle Ricky. In my mind, I could be wrong, but it was pretty much about 6 months, because I got the TV championship. I beat Ricky for that in the September of '93, and then I wrestled him for the next 6 months, and whatever until. And I was there on his last match. His match with Steve Austin, when he fell off and hurt his back, and he just never came back. I was there that night as well, or that day actually. I was there.
He's taking apart the railing for something here. So that was his. You were there against Austin. He hurt his back. That's his last match. I believe he's doing something soon. But right now, he just decided to take apart the barricade and hit Vader with it. I guess when you're facing a Vader, all bets are off.
Yeah, you gotta slay that dragon.
Yeah,
you gotta slay the monster. Right, you've got to use anything you can to slay the monster. And they're both doing a fantastic job of this. Leon set it up perfectly, just being bullying him and knocking him around, and now Ricky's got that fight. Just great stuff to watch.
I mean, you would think it would be when you hear it's these two guys together. You would think, Steamboat is getting mad at Race. But these two guys are guys who pretty much at this point in their careers could have great matches with anybody.
Fantastic pros, yeah, just brilliant. Vader knew how to be Vader, Ricky knew how to be Ricky. And when you put them in the ring, it works.
A man the size of Vader moving like that. Oh, the ref took a hit and he's out. Nick Patrick rolled out of the ring. Very few big guys ever moved like Vader. People don't talk about that enough.
Fantastic. Just incredible athlete.
I mean, his cartwheel was almost as good as yours, you know?
Because cartwheel would have been, anybody's cartwheel would have been better than mine. I do know that I had the worst cartwheel in the entire wrestling industry, and we got to see it before.
Oh, Harley Race taking a suplex from Steamboat. Yoshi Kwan coming in the ring. And the numbers are too much for Ricky Steamboat.
No, too much.
This match is broken down, Mr. Regal.
Yep. Which is what wrestling's all about.
Oh, they're setting him up in the middle of the ring, stretching him out for Vader to do his big bob. And who is it but Cactus Jack Mick Foley to the rescue?
I absolutely loved Cactus Jack as the character of Cactus Jack. It was fantastic.
Man,
I'd been seeing Cactus Jack before I ever came to America, because they used to show WCW late night in England. So I'd started seeing some of it, and when he first came on there in the late 80s, straight away there was just something so unique about him. So anyway, I enjoyed that. I mean, bit cringeworthy watching myself. I don't like watching myself, but that was good.
A fun way to close the show with.
Unfortunately, that's 30 years gone, or 29 years gone, like that.
Yeah, let's not talk about that. But what we can talk about is we want to thank everybody for listening to the
Thank you very much
podcast. Thank you, Wesley and Dominic and Steve Kaufman, Dave Green and Conrad, for all you do for the show. And a great watch-along episode. Thanks for doing it. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yes, thank you very much. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for listening.